The sky was painted in hues of orange and pink as Daniel cast his fishing net into the slow-moving river. The old fisherman had been coming to this spot for years, enjoying the quiet and solitude. The water rippled gently, reflecting the setting sun, and the only sounds were the occasional splash of a fish and the rustling of the reeds in the evening breeze. As he adjusted his net, a faint, desperate sound reached his ears, a high-pitched whimper, almost lost beneath the soft murmur of the river. Daniel paused, listening. Then he saw it. A small, struggling figure bobbed in the water a few yards away. It was a puppy, no more than a few weeks old, its tiny body barely staying afloat as the current pulled it farther from shore. Its paws flailed, its head dipped under, and for a terrifying second, it disappeared beneath the surface. Daniel didn't think. He just moved. Throwing down his fishing gear, he waded into the river, the cool water rushing around his legs as he pushed forward. The current wasn't strong, but for a creature so small, it was merciless. He reached out, his fingers grazing wet fur just as the pup's body started to go under again. With a firm but gentle grip, he scooped the tiny creature into his arms and turned back toward the shore, his heart pounding. The pup trembled violently, its breath shallow. It had been so close to drowning. Once on dry land, Daniel knelt and cradled the soaked puppy in his hands. Its fur was muddy, its ribs faintly visible under thin skin. It was abandoned, left to die. "Who did this to you, little one?" Daniel murmured, anger tightening his chest. He wrapped the pup in his flannel shirt, rubbing its small body to warm it up. Slowly, the shivering lessened. The pup, too weak to bark, simply looked up at him with large, pleading eyes. Daniel sighed. He had never been much of a dog person. He lived alone, his house quiet except for the occasional radio playing in the background. But as he sat there, holding the tiny life in his hands, something inside him shifted. That night, Daniel brought the pup home. He cleaned it, fed it small amounts of warm milk, and placed it in a soft basket by the fireplace. Every so often, he checked to make sure it was still breathing. The next morning, the pup was stronger. When Daniel reached down, it licked his fingers weakly, its tiny tail wagging ever so slightly. "Well," he muttered, shaking his head with a smile, "looks like I'm stuck with you now." Days turned into weeks. The pup, now named River, grew stronger. He followed Daniel everywhere, by the docks to the market, even to his fishing spot. He would sit patiently beside his owner, watching the water with fascination, his tail thumping against the wooden planks. Daniel found himself talking to the dog more than he had spoken to anyone in years. He shared stories of his late wife, of the son who had moved away, of the old days when the town was different. River would listen, tilting his head as if he understood every word. One evening, as Daniel sat by the water, staring at the fading sun, he felt a warm head rest against his knee. He looked down at River, whose eyes held nothing but love and loyalty. "You saved me as much as I saved you, huh?" Daniel whispered, scratching behind the pup's ears. River wagged his tail in response, and for the first time in a long while, the old fisherman didn't feel alone anymore.